transmit at the same time, and they act like a Super 8 antenna device. That's essentially what's going on. So it's like getting 8x8 capacity, efficiency, but without having to have 8x8 models. This is one that's interesting thing that one tidbit I'd like you to take away. So downlink multi-user MIMO has been a feature in Wi-Fi for a few years now. I don't know, was there anybody here 5 years ago when I gave a talk here in this room? You guys were? Yeah, that's crazy. So I gave a talk in this room on this stage about downlink multi-user MIMO when we released ACR2. And it's still very much like one of the best capacity features that we have in Wi-Fi. Downlink MU MIMO will get better when uplink multi-user MIMO is released. And the reason for that is because downlink multi-user MIMO requires you to sound stations. You got to get some information back from each station about what kind of channel it's hearing. And today, that goes one by one. You sound, and then you got to ask, like 4 stations. Like, tell me what you hear, tell me what you hear, tell me what you hear, 4 sequential steps. With uplink multi-user MIMO, we can just ask them all at the same time. So we do like sound, we say, hey, what you guys hear? They all transmit all their data at the same time on the same frequency. We unwind it all at the receiver at the AP, and now we've collected all the sounding at one time, and the protocol is much more efficient. So we'll see an improvement in downlink performance, downlink multi-user MIMO performance when uplink multi-user MIMO is released. So on the left-hand side, you can see this is network throughput on the y-axis, and then versus the number of stations that are attached to that AP. The curves are generally flat. That's good because we don't want the number of stations that are using the network to be a function, to have a negative effect on the total capacity of that network. The two charts down below, those are single user and OFDMA throughput curves. Then you move up to the next 2 curves. That's downlink multi-user MIMO, so that's the MU MIMO gain. And then you go another 50% greater. That's downlink multi-user MIMO, but with uplink multi-user MIMO use is sounding. So again, the cool thing about the next release of AX is going to be that the combinations of features are going to give, an experience, are going to give benefits that each individual feature couldn't do by themselves. 2 more comments that in the second release, combined with 6 gigahertz, some of the features are going to get even better. So we heard from some of the folks that have been on stage today that latency is really important. And I know that's a fact because my 13-year-old tells me my network's ping latency almost every day because it affects his Fortnite success. So I know this is a fact. Latency is important to the next generation. And there are great features that are being released now in our products that are going to impact latency. It will get even better when we combine those techniques in 6 gigahertz because even though AX devices are going to be able to enjoy low latency, they're still operating in an unlicensed channel with legacy devices. There's still EDC access from older devices that are going to come in, they're going to use the channel, and that will add to latency. However, in 6 gigahertz, all we'll have is AX. And so the level of control that a good scheduler can maintain on a network is going to be light years ahead of what people think is even possible. On the left-hand side is an example of that. It's a chart where I have latency on the y-axis and then numbers of stations that are gaming on the x-axis. And what we want is we want that curve to be as low as possible, little latency as possible, and we want that curve to be low as far out as much as we can. And we've done this simulation where once you get to 16 stations, there's actually no more spectrum. There's no more PHY capacity. So the 2 lines, the orange line and the yellow line, you can maintain very low latency, sub couple of millisecond latency, all the way out to the point where the capacity, the physical air capability of the network actually falls off. So the ultimate control of latency, of quality of service, all managed by the AP in 6 gigahertz. So again, combinations of 6 gig and AX bringing new benefits. And if you were downstairs, you heard Simon talk about spatial reuse. There are techniques in the 11AX spec that have sort of yet to be released and certified and interop tested by our industry, but will in the next few years. And those will enjoy, what that's going to do is it's going to address sort of the most unfortunate of devices in your network. So if you live in an apartment building, a lot of overlapping networks, usually most devices work great, especially the ones that are close to the AP or ones that are sort of like away from your neighbor. There's always that one or two devices that are like the most unlucky. Spatial reuse will 4x, 5x improve the throughput capabilities of those most unfortunate devices. And that will, as an ecosystem, that will really be deployed probably in the release, second release of AX. Okay, so that concludes. I think we can do Q&A.